Tonight on Team Voodoo Adventures, the deer rutting season is in full swing, and Jude is taking full advantage of the situation at Bayou Hunting Expeditions.
He's done. Dude, he is so done. He's done, y'all.
Then, we're teaming up with our friends at Swamp Gear for another incredible duck hunt. This time, in good old South Louisiana. Stay tuned for one heck of an adventure, next on Team Voodoo Adventures.
In the swamps of the Atchafalaya Basin, the annual deer rut is in full swing. And like we mentioned before, we're chasing bucks at Bayou Hunting Expeditions. We missed our main target this year, old Ironhide, but there's still plenty of gorgeous bucks on this property. We're about to hunker down and see what other options are available to us. Derived from the Latin rugere, meaning to roar, is the mating season of mammals, which includes ruminant animals such as deer. The rut is characterized in males by an increase in testosterone, exaggerated sexual dimorphism, and increases aggression and interest in females. The males of the species may mark themselves with mud, undergo physiological changes, or perform characteristic displays in order to make themselves more visually appealing to the females. Males also use olfaction to entice females to mate, using secretions from glands and soaking in their own urine. During the rut, males often rub their antlers or horns on trees or shrubs, fight with each other, wallow in mud or dust, self-anoint, and herd estrus females together. These displays make the male conspicuous and aids in the mate selection. The rut in many species is triggered by shorter day lengths. For different species, the timing of the rut depends on the length of the gestation period, usually occurring so the young are born in the spring. This is shortly after new green growth has appeared, thereby providing food for the females, allowing them to provide milk for their young, and when the temperatures are warm enough to reduce the risk of young becoming hyperthermic. The rut for white-tailed deer usually lasts 3 weeks, and down here it typically starts around Christmas. The rut is the time when white-tailed deer, especially bucks, are more active and less cautious than usual. This makes them easier to hunt, as well as more susceptible to being hit by motor vehicles. The buck has one thing on his mind at this time of the year: to find as many does as he can. He will chase after many does for weeks, barely eating. The rut can take its toll on bucks. They are usually quite worn out by the end of the breeding season. A white-tailed doe may be in estrus for up to 72 hours and may come into estrus up to 7 times if she does not mate. The rut can start as early as the end of September in most places, but like I said before, down here, Christmas is the hot time of the year. Bucks usually begin to start this process when the velvet is falling off of their antlers, and can last all the way until they start to shed their antlers. The peak of the rut, however, is right in the middle. Around this period of time, the bucks and does are very active. With the rut in full swing, for a hunter sitting in a tree stand at this time of the year, it's not uncommon to see many deer pass through his specific area due to other deer chasing others. Well, that's exactly what took place in this scenario. We had 2 days, an afternoon and a morning hunt, in which to scout and make sure the buck we were seeing on the trail cameras would make an appearance here, chasing does around. Sure enough, we spotted him on the first day, chasing the scent of does. He was still pretty far down the lane and never paused in the lane to give us a shot. As the storms moved in, we decided to call it a day and try again in the morning. We was expecting nice, cool, crisp air, and if you ask me, that's the best time to be in a stand. The next morning played right into our hands. A few does were already grazing in the food plot as we approached the blind. Only minutes after getting settled, the buck we watched yesterday, he came right into the lane, about 55 yards away from us. The does were 100 yards away from us, but upwind. He was crossing downwind, and we were there to cut him off.
He's down. He's done. Dude, he is so done. He's done, y'all. Y'all, we sat here. We weren't in the stand 5 minutes. We were still setting up the cameras. I put I put a bullet in my gun. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so excited. 2 deer walked out. A mom and a yearling. Then the 3rd yearling walked out. And we looking. A 4th big doe walks out. My goodness, y'all, she was enormous. We sitting here trying to decide we were gonna just take a big doe, but we knew we had seen a deer yesterday cross this pipeline, a good deer, and they had a couple deer cross further down, and then minutes go by and my cameraman, Jude, there's a deer in the woods. It's a buck. He's coming out. I picked up. He said, I think that's that deer from yesterday. We looked. He looked right at us, outside the ears. I'm saying he's a 4.5-year-old deer. You can see the horn sticking up way past his belly right now. We moved the stand yesterday. Kevin put us on this stand. We moved the stand out because there's a down limb just probably about 150 yards out, so we couldn't really see around it to get the full pipeline. We didn't even need to move the stand. He's down 55 yards, y'all. He's right there. We're gonna get down. We're gonna go check him out.
Sandman, put him down, baby. Yep.
Hands will be all wet. Look at this dude. Got a kick up. That's extra. Oh, dude, he's outside for sure. Man, guys, look at this dude. Got some good tall tines. That's a Basin deer right there. Came out following them does. Following them does, guys. He wanted to check them, and we checked him. The base, he got some good bases on him. Look at them brow tines. Man. Guys, for a hunt like this, called Bayou Hunting Expeditions today, we're on the side of the levee, right here near Henderson, on the way to Butte La Rose. Look at that, y'all. Look at that. We're gonna tag him up. We're gonna get the Yanmar over here, put him in there. We're gonna bring him to the Super Chevy. Y'all, there's a rub line in the woods, and it was making its way to the little crossing right here where all these deer been coming out. We knew he was coming. Look how tall this boy is, man. Wow. After scooping this bad boy up in the Yanmar UTV, we headed back to the landing for celebratory pictures. Coming up after the break, we're teaming up once again with Pat Hardy of Swamp Box for an incredible duck hunt on the Hardy lease. All that and more next.
What ProTech is we've got a special material that we use to encapsulate guns, ammunition, antiques. What we're going to do is take this material, build a bag out of it, insert the gun or the ammunition, whatever it is, and we're going to purge down, getting the inside environment down to about single digits in humidity, and the oxygen levels from everywhere in the world is about 21% down to about below 1%. Well, that's going to keep any metals, ferrous items from corrosion, rusting. So they can store them, bring them to us. This is a reusable material as well. So we can package their guns, come hunting season, cut it open, pull the gun out, use it, bring the bag back to us, and we'll repackage it for them. For you hunters, you duck hunters, you guides out there, you're leaving ammo in the blinds, and you come back the next day or a week later, and you find that the box is wet and the shells are falling all over. We can pre-package. You can leave it in. You got 5 blinds, you go and leave a couple boxes in each blind. They're there when the hunters need them. You can come back next year and it's still good.
Y'all go ahead and look it up at
ProtectDefender.com.
So you guys have recently started dating?
Yes. A little less than a month.
Coming up on 2 months now, yeah.
Cool. I want to show you guys these 3 Chevy SUVs. The first one is called the Trax.
Beautiful.
Do you think it would be good for moving in together?
Moving in together?
Okay. Well, this is the Chevy Equinox.
Wow.
Nice.
Perfect for when you two have your first kid.
Give me some time.
Okay. This is the Traverse for when you have your 5 kids, 2 dogs, and 1 cat.
Oh.
5?
Well, no matter what stage of life you're in, Chevy has an SUV for you.
You have it all planned out. Thanks.
Arco Equipment is proud to be a sponsor of Team Voodoo. And to all you Voodooites out there, we want to offer a special deal. 5% above cost on any UTV, any tractor, or any trailer. And that's only for you guys, the ones who are outdoors, just like Arco. The team here at Arco Equipment is proud to be a sponsor of Team Voodoo. And remember, when the only road is no road, it's Team Voodoo and Arco Equipment.
When it comes to hunting waterfowl, it can be tough at times here in the South. Sometimes the birds just don't go so far down. Instead, collecting in areas like southern Arkansas, where we were earlier this season, but that didn't seem to be the case this year. After the second split, a point in time when a short period of the duck season has ended and the second one begins, we were invited back to an incredible spot to hunt waterfowl. Patrick Hardy is the owner of Swamp Gear, an awesome gear and cooler company local to South Louisiana. He and his wife Hannah asked us to join them on a hunt in Arnaudville, and boy, what a treat.
That's all.
We got out here this morning. We had a bunch of birds working the blinds yesterday afternoon. Pat came dressed up the blind. We got in here this morning. The action started so quickly. We had a ton of birds. We probably should have shot probably 5 or 6 more than
Yeah.
we did.
Oh, yeah.
We missed a couple opportunities, and we could have been shooting a lot further than we were. We ended up with 9 birds, and we do believe we have a speck.
And have to go on a wild goose chase here in a second.
Wild goose chase. We're gonna have to go into the woods and look for it. Be down one of the deer food plots that on the other side here. We're gonna have to talk to the landowners, make sure it's okay to go find it. But could possibly be my very first goose on a duck hunt, or a goose hunt, or any kind of waterfowl hunt. We're gonna go check it out. Hopefully we get that. That'll make us an even 10. That's a good solid bag limit for this morning.
Good
and
goose.
Stuff, blah, 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 blah.
And that's about all. What you said, Hannah?
Yeah. Remember that goose I shot earlier? Well, we filmed it flying all the way to the woods, about a quarter of a mile away, and was definitely hit. So after the hunt was over, I was determined to find it. Leaving the blind, Pat pointed out a nutria rat nest along the way. Perhaps next year, we'll dive into these southern creatures a little bit more.
All them feathers came out of it. That's some tracking skill.
It might have been a damn bird that tried to grab him.
That's right, dude. You saw a hard one time?
Oh, one of them big wings like that. Got my first. Take a look. That's awesome.
That's a good evening bird too.
Tell us that it's your first spec, Jude.
Out of many years of waiting and having people take me to try to get one, I finally got my first spec, or we finally got my first spec.
And let me tell you, that's a heck of a story too. We had to do use some tracking skills.
We shot him with some double BB, some 3-inch and some 3.5.
Probably about a half a mile behind us too. I mean,
We watched him circle around, and we knew he came right here. And what we did, we were using them big oak trees to try to remember where he fell in. And Pat walked in, and I was a little further down because I thought he might have glided a little further in the woods. Pat found the feathers, but we kept on going further into the woods, and come to find out he walked this way, or when he hit the doggone the trees, his feathers floated further this way because it was an east wind. And I looked up and I saw that big old belly, and that's why they call him a speck. He's got specks all over his belly.
Plenty of brothers and sisters saying hello.
Yep, they all up in. Look at that. Look at the birds on top of us. Cool. We probably could have been shooting right now.
Calling them in. I'm glad we found it. That makes the hunt right there. That's the crown jewel.
Big old bird.
Beautiful bird.
My first spec, guys. That's a great end to a great morning. Y'all stay tuned. We're gonna have a lot more Team Voodoo adventures when we come back. Another hunt for the books, and my first goose. If you'd like to check out all of our adventures, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And while you're there, keep track of our daily adventures by following us on Facebook and Instagram too. I shall forever be your vigilant host, Jude. Until next time, on an all-new Team Voodoo Adventures.